There we go. And we're gonna be starting apparently where we kinda left off after the last match that was finished about 2 hours ago between Gaucho B, basically teammates and clanmates of Gaucho that are right now playing in here, and they will play against New Chapter, which was a pretty interesting matchup. But yeah, Regicide Fortress is apparently gonna be the choice here as well. It should be the home map of ByTs because they are like the home team in the schedule. So that's probably gonna be theirs, as already we are seeing a quite nice lure in by Poxo, trying to get the ball right under the TC. And well, the civilizations are going to be what? 4 ByTs that are the presumed home team actually here on this map. It's gonna be probably their home map. It's gonna be Mayans for Poxo. Lemur O2 is gonna be Chile, or rather not Chilean, sorry, Chinese of course. Moneymon is gonna be Spanish, and for the opponents, for Gauchos, it's gonna be also basically the same. Here you can see it's gonna be a mirror, Chinese, Spanish, and Mayans. As for some kind of overall level of the players, of course, you can kind of probably know plenty of the names in here. For Gauchos, of course, it's gonna be Nikov, Kalashnikov, that's good old Nikov, one of the top players of the game, especially as far as team games go. So that's 2000, I don't know how many hundred above that. Then it's gonna be Repiola, who is about 2k as well, and Nayax, aka Erubio, who is about 1900 or whatnot. So really quite high skilled and high level team that we are having right about now on our hands and in front of our eyes. For ByTs, we are also looking at pretty skilled players. Poxo is about 1950, I think. Moneymon is about the same, about 1950 as well. And Lemur O2 is about 1850. Moneymon is maybe slightly less than 1950, but doesn't really matter, as overall they are solid 1900 team and clan in here, and it's gonna be quite an interesting matchup between about 1900 and 2k basically. So yeah, pretty high level evening today. Okay, so we are already going to be looking where, for example, the kings are gonna be hidden. Apparently, Poxo doesn't want to raise the king all that much, which is slightly interesting because the first minutes, or basically until everybody advances into the feudal age, they're just usually using the king to also scout somewhere in between the players and whatnot. So it's slightly surprising that he's already having him hidden. But maybe since he is actually on the flank, he has right now discovered that he maybe doesn't want to risk all that much. So that could be one of the reasons why he's actually not that interested in making any kind of problems for himself for a bit later. Because, yeah, for example, last season there was a game played by Leo. I think it was last season, maybe even 2 seasons ago. The time kind of flies quite fast for me, as I'm still with RTS League for quite some years already. But that was a game on actually Regicide Fortress. And after the scouting, one of the players, I think it might have been Akeno, either Akeno or King Marv, I'm not entirely certain, actually left the king, like in the middle of the map, and forgot him there. And their opponents from Theri, that was an Indian clan, actually still is. I think they are still active. Yeah, well, they found him out, killed him by a scout, and well, suddenly it was 3 versus 2. I think that actually Leo still won in the end, because Theri are about a level of new player lobby at that time. So it still wasn't that hard for Leos to actually overcome the deficit. But yeah, there's definitely something to actually keep in mind quite fully, as that can be, yeah, quite a big problem if it were actually happen to you or your teammates, of course. So it's not a bad idea to actually from time to time check up on your players as well, so that you basically know that you're not gonna be screwed over by some kind of problems and basically just slip of mind. Well, there is already interesting scouting by the blue player. That's gonna be Lemur into Nayax on the right, as there was, interesting attempt at wall-in? Really? Right now? Already? Well, that was weird. So apparently also almost looking like that actually, especially Nayax, aka Erubio, is not having all that much of an experience with actually Regicide Fortress. What was this? Like, why? You can see how already lost the village almost, because of course on Regicide Fortress you usually don't go volume, as you're just having basically TC full time, then advance into the feudal age and whatnot. So that is reasonably strange. Reasonably strange indeed, as everybody is just now advancing. And the villager counts were kind of all over the place. The Chinese, of course, a bit more. Poxo 23, Moneymon 22. It should be more or less the same, but you can see there is basically the same discrepancy. So they are going for the same strategies in here. So really, so far, not really any kind of issue for either clan in there. Apparently, I have heard the villager die already. I definitely did hear him die. There is already the Eagle Warrior under fire. That's quite nice actually defensive wall-in in there. That doesn't usually happen on Regicide Fortress. Usually the towers are on the sides away from the enemies, so that you basically don't have such a nice defensive position like about Repiola is having just about now against Poxo. That's not something that Poxo will be all that happy about. But of course, actually what died right next to Nayax. Can we see the skeleton somewhere or whatnot? So far I don't see it. It was somewhere about here. I would be kind of thinking that maybe it was a village somewhere, basically the one that was almost dead. But I kind of think that's not really the case. So let's... Here it is. Here I found it. It's actually Scout from the blue player. So that's definitely not great for Lemur, because Lemur is right now without Scout. That's not gonna be helping him at all. So of course on the left side is going to be something similar for green player, who didn't lose the Eagle Warrior yet, but he cannot really lose him, or rather use him all that much. So basically right now he's probably gonna be just a bit of a decoy. Here you can see he's almost dead, so kinda useless. So his only use is gonna be as a decoy, as a false king, and the real king is gonna be all the way to the back in the tower, in there, hidden nicely and neatly. For the other players, where are the kings gonna be? Apparently for yellow it might be in the castle. Let's switch into Monaimon. Yes, he is basically going for the standard hiding place for the kings in here, and he's already coming for the Conquistadors, as we have just advanced into the castle ages at about 10 minutes. Reasonable time in all of it, so yep, not really any kind of problem so far. So this is going to be basically what it is going to be happening in the next minutes. The Spanish usually kind of own this middle game, with all the Conquistadors trying to fight a villager here and there that they could be killing and whatnot, because usually at this point also there are plenty of opportunities to do so, as often the players delete the walls to basically place better town centers and export their economy a bit more outside of the safety of their base. And well, that is exactly, what I'm talking about in here for Nayax, and that is the way where potentially the Conquistadors could be coming in, if there is a way in, which right now of course there is not, as Steel is finally finishing with the wall that he already wanted to start about minute 1. Yeah, that was just a bit too early. Not really all that great idea for him, but he also needs to kinda follow up with the wall on the left side, because that is gonna be wide open, and potentially where Monaimon, as the Spanish player for the Spanish clan, could be advancing forward into him. Well, otherwise there's potentially gonna be a hole in the wall pretty soon here for purple as well, even though at this point already there is definitely what I was talking about for Conquistadors. They can just stand behind the gate, behind the forest, and they're gonna be abusing the wood line and potentially even looking at the gold. So this is kinda unfortunate spawning for Nikov in here, but yeah, well, being Nikov, I kinda think that he's gonna be quite fine. Even with that, he will know what to do soon enough. Otherwise, well, he's having secondary gold. He has already opened himself as well through the bottom side. He's gonna be sending, or rather potentially having some soldiers sent in if he's not careful enough. But it doesn't seem to be really the case. But what is interesting is Green, who is already sending plenty of army forward. Even a bit of a wolfie in there behind him. Unfortunately though, that, yeah, this wasn't great. This wasn't great at all, because he's basically given up. He's given up that he is potentially aiming for the pocket player, for Nikov, and that is of course gonna be resulting into Repiola somehow responding to that, either by defense, it seems more like that, or maybe he could be even attacking the green player, which wouldn't be the baddest of ideas. As of course, there is still an opportunity right now exactly on the gold mine, and the TC, even though it is there, yeah, you can definitely see how you could be killing a few villages on the enemy side. Otherwise, apparently, this is gonna be a very aggressive game by ByTs. It's almost looking like they're actually hoping to maybe snipe a king, because so far they are advancing forward on both flanks very fast indeed. This is kinda unusual, it usually doesn't happen this way. But yeah, finally, yeah, seeing the third player that we were expecting from the very start with Monaimon, who is getting on the gold mine and on the wood line. Or Nikov. So Nikov though is having kinda issues with the wood line, because obviously he's having a second one right under the castle, which is great. But he might be still under fire if actually Conquistadors go into this little pocket. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, it's just okay. Because they are having 6 range in the castle age, right? Yes, they are. Remember it correctly. Good job, me. But in the later game, of course, in the Imperial Age, it's still gonna be wide open. But at that stage, it's not like it's gonna really matter all that much. Oh, Siege Workshop drop, right? Right outside of the gates for Nayax. This is definitely not something he was probably hoping for all that much. As he is... Oh, this is dangerous, because this one wood line could be actually open quite soon in there. Yeah, this is definitely dangerous. And even though there is some dead body in here, yeah, something died in there, probably some kind of... not sure. It doesn't seem like a villager all that much, so probably some kind of archer or whatnot. but it's almost looking like it's actually teal, but not really sure at this point at all. But since he is probably gonna be producing Rams very soon, he's gonna be inside the teal base, and we should be looking where actually teal, who is already prepared with the mangonel, is having actually his king. So where is that? In the castle. Alright, so he should be reasonably safe at that position. Already, second row of walls is going to be ready. And that's of course quite nicely played by Dyax, but Monaimon, or rather Lemur, is gonna be potentially right there. Now let's switch into his point of view. Well, yeah, he has already discovered there's gonna be second row of wall in, so he shouldn't really be coming through this way and should be coming a whole lot more into the south, so that he can more easily get into the enemy base. In the meantime, of course, there was exactly the player I was wanted to talk about, Monaimon, with a few Conquistadors coming from the bottom, but he has been caught up with by Kalashnikov, aka Nikov, and he is taking care of the situation quite alrightishly. Yeah, it seems like that his base is fairly safe at this point, even the gold that was potentially under attack in there, and basically all that is right now remaining is to finish up with the wall in from about here, all the way to the forest, and it's gonna be reasonably fine for them on the right side. Though on the left there is no walling going on, and I'm kinda thinking that it really should be Nikov as the pocket player right about now walling, because Nyax did his job already. Repiola not really all that much, but it's not like he has to do a whole lot on the left side, because he's right next to the wall of the map, so it's kinda alrightish for him. You can see his economy going quite strong with already 4 TCs, which is kinda normal on this map. But yeah, just a short wall here, and probably here and there, and it's gonna be quite a good and safe trade route for Gauchos for a bit later. So coming forward, though not coming through the wall yet, but this is not really gonna be anything all that crucial for this part of the map, as on the left side though, this is definitely interesting, as castle is gonna be dropped right next to Repiola. So this is nice play by Poxo, and since he's having plenty of Plumtaches right next to it, it's probably gonna be very hard for the opponents to actually stop him somehow. Well, in the meantime, let's look at the economy, as we are having a bit of a pause. I don't unfortunately see Repiola. He's having like 70 something, 72 probably. That's gonna be 72 for Nikov. Nyax is having about 68. And for the opponents, you can see they are not having that strong economy. That's gonna be 51, 41 and 59, which is gonna confirming a bit different approach to the game and complementing basically the aggressive game plan by ByTs, by Birasita Pass, which is so far looking like it could be actually working, as the opponents are taking things a whole lot more slowly with their booming. But if they can hold on, until the Imperial Age, about 5 minutes into the Imperial Age, then of course the stronger economy is gonna be kicking in. You're gonna be seeing Paladins and much better spam of units overall. So yeah, it's gonna be all about the next about 10-15 minutes of the game time, who is going to be winning the game, most probably. Yellow already ready in the middle with a few Conquistadors in there, as Nikov is apparently coming after him, so he will want to abuse his villages a bit more, if he potentially can, as we are having a bit of a pause, quite a long one actually. So let's check into the lobby if some problem is there. Apparently not. Seems like that everybody is just fine, so hopefully that's gonna be fine for us. Ah, yeah, well, exactly as we talk about it, it is coming back live. So Imperial Age coming for Lemur. Is that some kind of sling? I don't think so. So far I haven't seen any kind of notions that somebody could be slinging or whatnot. The first Imperial Age for Lemur is definitely quite fast in here, but is it really gonna be enough? Because so far he's just knocking down a wall. He doesn't need to knock down, because there's already gonna be almost a second and a third wall. You can see, actually, yeah, not almost, but really, second and third row of walls, normal wall, and then the houses. That's gonna be basically the third one, and it should be, aha, maybe a castle drop then. He gets through and drops the castle in there. He does have the stone almost. He's missing basically about 400 or rather 40. They made the numbers in there. It was a pause by Monaimon, and well, yeah, this is gonna be a castle drop about here, which is actually potentially quite dangerous, because you can see it's very close by to the gold mine, and once the gold is off, does he have some kind of secondary one? Probably somewhere at the bottom, which is right about now not cleverly used by Nikov as part of the wall-in, but he does have something at the very back, and yeah, ×2, so he should be reasonably okay, if he actually though knows about it. So that's Nyax scouting. Oh, he doesn't know about either of those. Oh well, yeah, that sucks. So at this point, he might actually not be all that happy about what Nikov is doing, blocking the gold kind of partway, because this might be really not his gold anymore in quite a quick time and succession. So let's see how this is going to be working, because so far this one Mangonel is was basically keeping the plan alive for Nayax, but it's looking like that it could be a bigger problem for him than it right about now looks like, potentially from his point of view, because castle is finished. Curiously enough, not here. I would really place it here. It seems like a natural spot. Even though he doesn't see the gold, I'm thinking Lemur. Yeah, he doesn't know about the gold, but oh, maybe he should be knowing about it. He does see the mining camp just about now here there, but still, placing a castle here could be really disrupting the economy, especially the food economy in there. But yeah, he opted for the left to basically steal the gold mine and potentially go inside the enemy base, because unfortunately he did kill the wall, because he was hoping he can potentially stop it with, of course, with the Mangona on the left. But yeah, that didn't happen. And let's, for example, look on the left side. On the other flank, how's it looking with Poxo? So far, he wasn't able to basically make any kind of lasting progress. He's at least trying to finish the second castle, which should be working for him quite alright, it seems like. As the first one is done. It's offering quite nice protection to this one also, which is of course gonna be the same problem as for Nayax on the right side. It's gonna be denying the gold mine, and is Red having another one? Well, so far he's coming back with plenty of Chukonos, he's having plenty of gold mines in there, but they're not really all that safe because they haven't walled. There is extra gold mine behind his base in there, and it's gonna be quite unsafe if, especially, Oxo is gonna be kinda anticipating the move. Well, anticipating, it's not that hard to anticipate when you see it. And he's gonna be, oh well, yeah, that's plenty more Plumtaches than these Chukonos, and this is gonna be a problem. Because even though he can probably finish the TC, he's not gonna be allowed to finish with the gold mine at all. And this is not good news for Gauchos overall. And ByT is definitely playing very well indeed. And they are going for the win here. And this is probably the correct timing to actually remind everybody what is at stake here. And what is at stake is basically first place in division number 6. And also maybe even advancing through playoffs at this point. Basically Gaucho, they are gonna be advancing into playoffs no matter what, even if they lose to 0. But if they lose to 0, they're gonna be losing first place. And ByT's would be actually taking that first place, so that would be quite unexpected. And otherwise, if actually ByT's lose to 0, then it could be very curious if they even get into the playoffs. They might be just on the outskirts of it. It's gonna be very interesting. They need at least one game to be assured playoffs, ByT's, but if they can win both, oh, they're of course gonna be assured. So any result of this match is gonna be making stuff for the playoffs very unusual for their division, and basically might be turning everything on its head as opposed to how the season was actually going so far. So Nayax not having a great game. You can see he's right now under pretty heavy attack. He has already been breached into the economy. It's gonna be up to some pretty good shooting with the Mangonel. So we are looking at Cavaliers coming in for Moneymon, but for actually Nayax not yet. Because Nayax is coming for Blade Paladin armor just about now, but curiously enough, why? Why not the Cavalier? Have you just forgotten? He apparently really forgot. He really forgot to actually click into Cavalier. Well, that's a disaster at this point, because he really could use the better horses right about now. But let's also look on the left side, where the better horses are already coming in from ByT's. And they seem to be exactly in time, even though Nikov is also on time. So this is right now kind of equal in the situation. And with the castle being finished, it's looking promising for Repiola to be able to defend. And Nikov, yeah, well, this seems like that this game is actually gonna be all about him, with oh, severely stuttering Plumtaches trying to catch up and make some kind of formation. Yeah, you're definitely having problems with that. But this strong double, yeah, it seems like it's gonna be a full-on double by Moneymon with Poxo against basically right now Nikov and Repiola. It might be working, but still they need to put a whole lot more effort into the game, because as we said at rather a bit earlier, it's gonna be all about if in the next 10-15 minutes, which is right now down to about 7 minutes, ByT's are gonna be able to eliminate at least one of the players from the game. They don't need to really kill him, but more or less make him useless for the game. But so far I don't exactly think that's happening. This is probably the closest Lemur against Nayax, as the economies are, well, definitely better. Definitely better for Gauchos. You can see 111, rather 112 right about now, 100 and 116, whereas for the opponents it's 91, 50 and 117. So Moneymon is definitely ready to supply all the paladins that he can get. Yeah, he's already getting there almost 2/3 through That's gonna be a pretty good power spike for them to help them in the battle. But otherwise, Lemur is definitely right now in a pretty tough situation, because if he loses this initial army, he won't be having the economy to replace it, and he's gonna be losing badly. He is gonna be losing very badly, and to be honest, it's almost looking like that's exactly gonna happen. I'm kinda thinking so. It's not looking all that promising, especially with the help arriving from Nikov, and Nikov already elite archers, and he is ready to help on both sides of the map. So on the left side, it seems like that Poxo's attack has actually failed quite completely. The castle is right now down through all the trebuchets that we have seen there. It was to be expected, but yeah, well, with all the armies in there, we maybe could have thought that Monaimon could be holding the situation for a bit longer with the paladins, but apparently not, and Poxo just wasn't able to supply enough pressure in there, which is quite curious, because he does have the economy at 91. So I would really be expecting that he would be able to somehow sustain the pressure, but yeah, well, apparently not. Apparently not, so good job by Gauchos on the defense in there, but they still need to provide, or rather they still need quite a lot of effort on the right side to finally push Lemur out of the position, but it seems like that has been finally done. And that is gonna be switching the momentum definitely into Gaucho's side, because the economy deficit for Lemur is just huge. He even lost some extra abilities on the gold mine in there. You can see all the dead blue bodies in here. Yeah, on the resolution you maybe don't see them all that clearly, but they are definitely there. He lost about 10 villages, and he's down to just 43, whereas all the Gauchos are 100 plus, so this is gonna be just ownage of the little hill. That's gonna be important to basically deny any kind of advantage to enemy Chukonus. And with Nikov also switching into halberdiers in here, this is looking very well and very well set up for the right flank to actually be coming into Gaucho's side and Gaucho's power altogether. Yeah, that's exactly what he needs. Plenty of plume touches, you can see he's sending basically all of it onto the right side, as Yellow has also switched onto the right flank. Onto the right flank, as on the left flank it seems that Repiola should be at this point able to handle the situation just by himself. He's having stronger economy by about 20 villages. It's not really that huge, but it seems to be quite enough at this point. But at the same time, there is still quite a good number of plume touches that are not elite though. And not elite yet. Ring Archer armor, that's gonna be the last one for him. Otherwise, nicely upgraded, so yeah, basically just the one upgrade, and he can be quite a pain for the elite Chukonus from Repiola, who is not fully upgraded. He's having at least rocketry, but still missing some Ring Archer armor and maybe something a bit more. So Siege Workshop not gonna be finished, but he could definitely be using some, yeah, exactly, like these Siege Works. He definitely could be using a few of those, as they would be really working wonders against, or rather soaking up some damage from the Chukonus. But yeah, right now that's not gonna happen, as you're gonna be looking in this battlefield. But yeah, apparently they already call it a GG, because even though on the right side the battle is not done, ByTs have seen that the plan has basically failed, and it's gonna be coming for Gauchos through the stronger economy, and you can see that the battery boom actually prevailed, even though it was a very nice idea by ByTs to actually push forward so well and so strongly, and it actually almost worked. It really wasn't that far away from working. You could have seen that actually Nayax was in pretty tough situation. He was able to withstand the pressure in there, and I'm kind of thinking if really the castle in here in the little pocket, if it wouldn't be better than the one on the left side. I'm kind of thinking it might have helped him drive him off the gold and disrupt more of the economy. But yeah, well, decisions. It didn't happen, and in the end, Nikov from the pocket position, yeah, well, that's kinda always a sad story for the enemies when Nikov is in pocket. That's usually very hard to overcome. And he yet again proved that he was exactly in the correct timing at the correct places, and he was able to save Repiola, well, literally save, and in the end, a bit later, Nayax as well. Well, good job, Gauchos, and they are leading 1-0, which is basically at this point meaning that they are gonna be finishing as the first in division number 6. And ByTs, well, they could definitely use the one win. So let's see if they can actually get it. But on the home map of Gaucho, yeah, that's gonna be hard when their own home map didn't work out. Alright, let's look at the achievements. Definitely Nikov. But overall, I really have to say that I like ByT's strategy. It was quite brave. Nicely executed. Almost worked. So, good job. Good job on that. Good job on that. What else? So, is there something interesting in here? Probably not. Yeah, just the best ages moving all around, so not really any kind of big differences here and there. And just the better economy basically in the end won for Gauchos, even though Monaimon was in the end strongest, even for ByTs. Yeah, well, you could have seen that even his faster paladins just weren't enough to basically kind of finish the situation. That was probably the plan, that the flanks kind of start the situation up, and then the paladins come in and close it off. But yeah, well, something was missing to that. Something was missing to make it work. So GG.